Welcome back to an episode of Mando Talk. And, well, this will be the final one for a while. Because we're at the end of Season 2. So let's talk about Chapter 16, The Rescue. So firstly, before we go in depth, wow, this episode was amazing. I think it might be the best one yet. I don't know. Also, the gameplay you guys are seeing now, this is me trying out the TIE Defender. I haven't played this game in a while, so excuse the bad gameplay.
That one's tailing me.
Anyways, yeah. So, man, Luke Skywalker's face, it kind of looked weird. But it was really cool to see him, you know, in his element again. Waiting for that ever since I watched Return of the Jedi. And I've still been waiting that since the sequel is finished up. But man, this episode was amazing.
Never stood a chance.
And yeah. So the episode begins with an attack on an Imperial shuttle. The attention to detail is pretty cool. With the Slave One using ion cannons to disable the shuttle. That was pretty cool. I like that. And then, you know, it was aborted. The tension kind of reminded me of the first scene we got in A New Hope, where, you know, the rebels were the ones being boarded, and the tension was pretty good. And then Mando and everybody else, Marshal Du and Boba Fett, they all boarded the shuttle, and like how one of the pilots doesn't really, you know, care too much. It's like, listen, I'm not with him. I'll let go free, because, you know, a lot of Imperials lost faith in the Empire after all that happened during the Galactic Civil War. So it was cool to see. Then he gets blasted by the other dude. Provides an interesting perspective, you know. If he thought of Yavin 4 as a not Yavin 4, Alderon's destruction as a necessary evil, which, I mean, it's not right, but it's an interesting way to see how a lot of Imperials justified it. And then he really pushed it much into his buttons. And he got what he deserves. And then, Dr. Pershing, who's confirmed to be a cloning officer. So that was cool. It confirms what was already speculated from his appearances in the last season, and his appearance in hologram form in episode 4 of this season. and so that was interesting. Many speculated it because of the Camino patch on his shoulder, which should look very similar, but I kind of thought that was a stretch. No, it seems kind of likely. It's interesting because, I mean, the Empire basically gave up cloning. You know, they retired a lot of the clones. Clones were had that accelerated aging, which made them sort of less effective after the Clone Wars. And the Empire, you know, they stopped using cloning. They recruited people instead of, you know, cloning them into the army. So it's kind of interesting to see that they're dabbling, you know, back into that cloning again after they kind of gave it up after the Clone Wars. So that was cool. And also we see again that Dr. Pershing isn't that bad of a guy. I mean, he cares about the child, and he didn't put up that much of a fight. Oh, I did not mean to do that. So yeah, it was interesting to see. It reinforced the fact that he's not that bad of a guy, and he helped. Talked about how the Dark Troopers were third generation, a nice reference to Legends, in which this style of Dark Trooper, you know, the sort of style we're seeing in the show, was Phase 3. They said that the functionality of them being suits had been eliminated, just like the Dark Troopers and Legends in Phase 3, so that was cool. And then they made the plan, and I was going out alone. So the ladies of the group. It was pretty cool to see that diversion where Fett was pretending to be attacking them. That was a cool strategy. And he had very stormtrooper-like aim, but that was on purpose. Resupply. And then they actually landed in that base to block off the TIE fighters. So that was a pretty genius move. To where now they couldn't launch any more TIEs. And Gideon is now tipped off to their plan, because not only did he hear Bo-Katan, now he's seeing them depart and destroy the stormtroopers. And going back a little bit, the meeting between Bo-Katan, Oscar Reeves, and Boba Fett was kind of harsh. I mean, she called Jango Fett Boba's donor, which isn't cool, just thought of Jango as his dad. That was kind of stinging insult. And he called her princess, which was also meant to be an insult, but a reference to the fact that she once ruled over Mandalore with the dark saber until presumably Moff Gideon took it from her in a fight of some sort. And yeah, they had a little fight. But Bo-Katan took that off a little bit. Also, her ship we saw in Clone Wars was visible on that planet, so that was a nice little detail. It was a Death Watch ship, was the two wings. So that was cool to see again. It was a very cool ship design. Now back to the plan. They take out the stormtroopers pretty easily. It's a nice fight choreography. That was nice to see. And they made their way up there. Like, it's too quiet.
And the best you got?
And they fought. The stormtroopers kind of tried to surprise them in that hangar bay. But obviously it didn't work out too well. And they had to have them on the back foot. Stormtroopers were outclassed in this one, I'd say. Because they were going up against a group of Mandalorians and bounty hunters. They didn't really stand a chance. And then we go back to Mando, and that's where we see the Dark Troopers. Now, Dr. Pershing recently stated, you know, when they had him captured, that the Dark Troopers had a charge up time of 2 minutes, and when Gideon said charge up the Dark Troopers, I knew we were finally gonna see them in action, so that was great. And then, you know, Mando tries to shut them down, but Din's too late. And one claws their way through, pretty much like a T-100. That's cool.
Got him. They're on me.
And the Dark Trooper fight was insane. Like, oh, that's not good. Dark Trooper fight was insane. Like, Mando was just barely scraping out a win with that Dark Trooper. It kept pounding him and pounding him. I'd hate to see what it would do to a, you know, rebel soldier that doesn't have a Beskar helmet. But the Beskar didn't do it. It just kind of got smushed into that wall. And then Mando got the upper hand on it with the flamethrower, and then he used that staff. That was pretty cool to see him finally utilizing that staff that he won. In episode 5.
Blasted rebels.
And then, oh, then got out into space, and I was kind of disappointed then, but little did I know, we'd be seeing them again. And then Mando makes his way to the detention block, which is kind of similar to the Imperial detention blocks we've seen before. You know, on Kashyyyk in Jedi Fallen Order, and on the Death Star in A New Hope. It was kind of cool to see that again. And then we saw Gideon with the Darksaber again. Every time we see the Darksaber again, gives some chills. And, you know, he was kind of pretending to be all buddy-buddy with Mando. He was like, oh, I got all we needed from him. All of his blood. So, you can have him now. And Mando fell for the trap. And he says this line of, assume I know everything. Which, you know, is kind of foreshadowing that he had this whole plan in place, even if he lost to Mando. And then he just backstabs him, and he starts swinging the Darksaber. Makes these clanking sounds against Mando's armor. Especially his jetpack too. And I was kind of worried for Mando that he might need to have some backup here. But no, Mando pulls out the staff, and they have this really cool duel. I wouldn't say it's a sword duel, because I mean, Mando's dueling with a staff, but it's close to it. I really like the Darksaber's design. It's sort of like a sword. It's in the style of a sword, with that blade and well, the emitter kind of looks like a hilt of a sword, so that's cool. And yeah, he beats him kind of easily, although it takes a little effort from Mando. He cuts the rope like Luke did to Boba Fett in episode 6. So that was nice attention to detail. And then something weird happens. So he takes Gideon back, and now Mando is the rightful wielder of the Darksaber. So that's cool. And he tries to give it to Bo-Katan, but then Gideon's all like, "Oh, it has to be one." And this Elder Wand sort of succession, we haven't really seen it before. I thought this was kind of weird that it had to be one, because I mean, sure, the title of ruler of Mandalore had to be one. We saw that when Darth Maul took over Mandalore in the Clone Wars. But I mean, it's kind of weird that the saber itself has to be one, because like in Rebels, Sabine just gave it to Bo-Katan. She kind of just found it. I mean, Bo-Katan didn't just start fighting her for it. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird, because we haven't seen that anymore. It doesn't really make much sense. But I guess this is the new way of things, since I guess maybe Bo-Katan sort of feels like she has to wield it since she lost it. And I guess she has a chip on her shoulder, so she can't really, you know, take it back that easily. She sort of feels like she has to earn it back. And I don't know where that's gonna go. We didn't see it resolve in this episode. It's an interesting thought there. But then we see the X-Wing, and at first I thought it was gonna be Dave Filoni's character, or Paulson's character. You know, those two X-Wing pilots from episode 2. Of this season. I kind of thought we'd get a little cameo from them again. But, no, it was Luke Skywalker. And man, when I saw that green lightsaber and that hood, I knew it was him. He's wearing his same attire from Return of the Jedi. Man, I've been waiting for years. We've all been waiting for years to see Luke kicking some butt again. And it was so cool to see. The choreography was amazing. I mean, Luke was slicing through those dark troopers like butter. Meanwhile, they had sort of been kicking Mando's butt when he fought them. And Luke even did the behind the back saber deflection like Anakin did in episode 3. That was really cool to see. And it was really just, I can't really describe it right now, but if you're a Star Wars fan, you know, it was great to see Luke again in his prime. And you start to see Baby Yoda's ears perk up, because Grogu's excited to see a Jedi again. And then we see the gloved hand. And we see the face of Luke Skywalker. And it kind of looked weird when he was talking. Like when he wasn't talking, he was just kind of staring. That looked like Luke Skywalker. I know everybody's trashing on it, but when he wasn't talking, it looked like Luke Skywalker. I didn't really have an issue with it. You know, but when he was talking, it kind of looked weird, to be honest. I don't know. I think the facial mapping just didn't work out this episode. I didn't really have a problem with Leia or Tarkin in Rogue One. I thought they looked pretty good. But man, this just didn't do it for me. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. Just leave it in the comments below. Anyways, Grogu's kind of hesitant to leave. You know, like Ahsoka said, he has an attachment to Din. You know, Din's his dad. But Din finally took off his helmet to Grogu.
Try that again.
And he was like, "It's okay, don't be afraid." Which was a really nice moment. Because that's the first time Grogu has seen Din without his helmet on. So that was very cool. And I think that the last episode, the episode before this, chapter 15 was kind of leading up to this. A little foreshadowing there. Let's try spinning. That's a good trick. And he gave Grogu, but Grogu was really hesitant until R2-D2. Man, it's really cool to see R2 again. R2's just been through it all with Luke, you know. I'm glad he was here along for the ride. He looked really happy to see Grogu. Maybe it's just his attachment to Yoda. Kind of made it like that. It was really cool to see him, and it made Grogu feel safe again. Because everybody loves R2. R2 is just the best. And so then Grogu left with Luke Skywalker. Kind of made me sad, you know, knowing the fate of Luke's Academy in the sequel trilogy, but I don't know. Maybe it'll work out for Grogu. And yeah, that was the episode. I was about to get up, but then post-credits scene. So we go to Jabba's palace, which, man, I thought it was kind of a missed opportunity that we didn't see it in this show, since we've been to Tatooine multiple times now. But man, it was great seeing that again. We haven't seen Jabba's palace in so long. It's cool seeing that again. And Bib Fortuna took over Jabba's throne. So that was cool. He got as fat as Jabba too. I guess if you gotta sit there, I mean, you just don't get up. We saw the Gamorrean guards again, who absolutely got wrecked by Fennec Shand. You know, Boba returns to one of his former employers, and he just shot him. And now the Book of Boba Fett next year, which looks pretty interesting. But the next year, in December, was the date they gave for Mando season 3, specifically Christmas. So I don't know if this will be Mando season 3. Kind of need some clarification there. But I'm excited. I'm all the way for it. It's cool that they're giving Boba Fett his own thing. I kind of thought he was underused in these past few episodes, but no, it's all been leading up to this, and you know what? I'm really excited as a Star Wars fan, as a fan of Boba Fett, who you know, was kind of not used very well in the movies. I mean, he's just kind of there. I thought he was intimidating in episode 5, but episode 6, he kind of just got destroyed. So I'm glad that he's getting his due. And, yeah, this season has been amazing. Got to see Bo-Katan, who wasn't the first animated character to be animated Star Wars character to receive a portrayal in live action. I saw some people saying that. No, Boba Fett first came out in the holiday special, but got to see Bo-Katan, got to see Ahsoka, got to see the Darksaber in all its glory being used again. Reference to Thrawn. That'll be interesting to see where that goes. Baby Yoda got a name. And this season was excellent. I'd say it was almost, I think it was equal to, if not better than, season 1. Got to see Cobb Vanth again. I thought we'd never see him. Sure, they did some tweaks, but I think that might just be an embellishment on his part. I never thought we'd get to see a character who was just an interlude in a few chapters, actually portrayed in live action. So that was amazing, and whew, man, if you've been watching this, thank you so much. Let's have a nice discussion in the comments of this season, and I'm just glad we got some good Star Wars again. As always, have happy holidays. And, everybody stay there. And I'll see you guys next time. May the Force